Hi, this is Mitz Matsunami with Century 21C Watson, and if you're watching this video right now, you're probably interested in buying your first home, and it'd be my pleasure to share some of the techniques that are involved in buying a home. So let's get right into it. Basically, there's 5 steps in buying a home, and in my 33 years of real estate, the process hasn't really changed too much. So basically, the 5 steps are the pre-qualification by a lender, getting to know your wants and needs, viewing homes and making an offer, and then getting an escrow and doing your due diligence. Okay, and that's really what it comes down to. And let me elaborate on that a little bit for you guys. So the pre-qualification with the lender, basically what they're going to do is they're going to check your credit worthiness, which is going to let us know what your buying habits and payment habits are like. The down payment available to you is going to also dictate what type of loan you're going to go with and what your rates are going to be. A lot of people ask me, oh, we qualify for a first-time home buying like type of loan, and it's an advantage and disadvantage, and the lenders will talk to you about it. In most cases, you can get in with either 3% down up to 20% down, which is typical. And if you have an extraordinarily, large down payment, there's different ways you can get that settled up, either with a larger down payment to make your monthly payment a lot smaller, or to be able to buy down some fees and things like that, which is typical in this particular market. So the different loans would be FHA, VA, and conventional loans. And in that conventional realm, there's a lot of different loans that actually fit into that criteria as well. And then there's some special programs that are also available to some buyers that may be under a certain income level with a certain minimum FICO score, and those things can be brought to the lender's attention as well. And in most cases, they'll be making the recommendations for you. And then the last thing that the lender does in their pre-qualification, if there's any little issues or maybe some collections or anything like that, they can recommend how to remedy those things. And there's some advanced cases where there may be some tax issues and other things that are unpaid, that they can make recommendations on how to alleviate those stressors from your scoring of your FICO score. Okay, the next thing on our list would be getting to know your wants and needs. Now, this is really where I come in on the process. And, we're basically going to sit down and we're going to talk about the locations that you're interested in. And, what are those other things that you desire on your property? Is it the schools? Is it the physical attributes like the bedrooms and baths, particular square footage? Maybe you want a pool, or maybe you need to be closer to your work, those types of things. The other thing that you need to share with me is the time frame in which you need to purchase at. And then, of course, the last thing is if there's any contingencies of your purchase. Do you have a home to sell? Are you waiting for a job transfer? Do you need to move out a particular rental property? And the big one is always like, if you want to move and you want to wait till your kids are out of that school, that's probably one of the ones I get the most. Okay, and we'll go over that, and some of the things that fall into that criteria is actually like showing properties and getting to know what your style and taste is as well, and we'll get to learn each other's very soon. Okay, making an offer, and this is the other forte that I have. I have a background in foreclosure, and I did that for probably a good 15 years. So the evaluation of price, condition, and location, and any type of repair amenities is my forte. The banks hired me to evaluate their inventory, and then, of course, put them back on the market and sell them in whichever condition is most conducive for the property is very important. And it's what I will do for you as well. The information gathering is basically me going out and talking to the listing agents and interviewing them and seeing what the motivation of the seller is, if there's any special concessions or conditions that need to be met for the sellers. And then also, just basically getting to talk to them in most cases, being in the business for a long time, I'll know a lot of the agents. So, my credibility is built with them, and they'll be a little bit more open in sharing, what's going on with a particular transaction. And of course, the last is negotiations. Depending on the way we have our offer, written, I'll tell you what's the best possibility of success and whether we can push or maybe pull in the negotiation process. And the last, of course, is probably the most common is getting into escrow and doing inspections. So the last part of the process is probably the most arduous. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to drop off our earnest money deposit. In most cases, it's going to be 1% of whatever the sales price of the property is. That's typical in Fresno. We're going to be able to inspect the disclosures. So those are all the documentations that the seller and the buyers, and the listing agent are going to put down on paper, and we're going to view those disclosures and see what is in working condition if they've had any issues with the property in writing. Then we will have the physical inspection and home inspection. And in this particular case, I wrote down termite inspection. But, there's certain inspections that go along with certain types of housing. These are the most common for, let's say, just a single family residence in a city. But depending on what you're looking for, let's say if it's an agricultural piece of land, there may be, well reports and water potability, soil solubility, and other inspections like that. There's a number of inspections you can do, but these three are the most typical. And then, I have a long list of different other inspections you can do if you deem them necessary in the purchase of whatever particular property. The loan document signing is what the lender's going to do towards the end. And basically what they're going to do is you're going to have a second chance to look at the interest rates, the monies that you're bringing in, and if there's any finalizing of any kind of documentation that the lender needs, it's going to be done in this period of time. Escrow typically is anywhere between 30 and 45 days in most cases. And then, of course, the close and home ownership is going to be when when we get to the finish line. They take all our paperwork, go down to the county, record your loan and change of ownership, and then now you're a homeowner. So that's basically it in a nutshell. There's not too much difference in the way this is done anymore. And if you want a little more information about what the current market is like, see the video below, and that will help you understand what's going on with the current climate and heat of this particular market in 2023. Thank you so much for your time, and have a nice day.